Space Action Podcast with your hosts Chris Carson and DC and Shama.
Welcome to Space Action Podcast, a division of Space Action Heroes, a webcomic you can find at spaceactionheroes.com. I'm Deniso motherfucking Shama.
I am Chris Carson.
Oh shit!
Woo!
We are back in the house. This is our first one of 2020. I don't remember anymore.
We had another one of 2020, but I think it was unceremonious, like how our 50th podcast was just 1996.
Yeah, I think the 2020 podcast we spent talking about 2019 movies.
I think we did.
And
maybe.
On that note of staying timely, we're going to be talking about a bunch of movies that have been out for a fucking while.
We're going to talk about, each of us have a movie that the other one hasn't seen, so it's very spoiler-free sort of overview.
Tiptoe around a lot of details.
Me, less so than you.
Oh, yeah.
And then...
oh, yeah.
And then we're just going to do a little nerd news to polish it off.
To whet your nerdy palates.
Yeah. We'll say palates, yeah. So do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Well, what movie are you doing?
I'm just going to talk about Marriage Story.
Starring
Adam Driver.
And
Black Widow herself, Scarlett Johansson.
I just like the idea of it's Kylo Ren and Black Widow.
And Black Widow.
Trying to make shit work.
Yeah, not even. It's just a divorce story. That's why I don't have a lot of spoilers to dance around, because it's literally Kramer versus Kramer 2.
Gotcha.
It's just the story of a couple going through a divorce and how it was amicable until the lawyers got involved, and the lawyers just ruin everything when it comes to divorce, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. Alan Alda's in it. He's adorable.
He's adorable.
He's either super fucking evil, because I watched The Aviator recently, and he is just such a prick in The Aviator.
Sure.
He plays prick so well.
He does.
But he plays bumbling sweet really well too.
Yeah.
So that's his two ranges.
It is.
That he's old.
And it's weird, he's one of those dudes where he doesn't really change his performance.
No.
But we're like Christoph Waltz. Like, he acts the same way in every movie, but
sometimes he's
sometimes
horrifying.
he's terrifying, sometimes you're like, oh, he's so lovable.
Yeah. He is such a prick. I gotta deviate to The Aviator for a second, because I hadn't seen that since theaters. And I didn't really like it when I first saw it. I thought it was a weaker Scorsese, but now going back to it, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
It's really slow, and I'm not a big fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, so it was kinda...
Even the Scorsese DiCaprio, I find he gets the best out of him.
He does get the best out of him, but I think the best out of Leo is still just yelling a lot. So it's interesting him playing Howard Hughes, because Howard Hughes wasn't an angry, screaming person, so it's Leo trying to just act like a normal human being.
Do they go all the way to his later days?
Not his old living in a casino days, but they do his first dip into his madness that he has to come out of to go to his Senate hearings when they were doing all the witch hunts of the 1950s and after World War II, and they were accusing him of being a war profiteer.
Gotcha.
But it's really good, and Howard Shore did the theme, and it was right off of Lord of the Rings, obviously. Nice. And there's just this. So it sounds like
they're going to Roheim every time they show the fucking spruce moose.
There's barely any music in it, but every time he has a moment of innovation, it just does this little
oh, cool.
And it's just really, really cool sounding.
Nice.
And it's really great. It's if you haven't seen The Aviator, see The Aviator.
But speaking of Leo's freakouts, did you finally get around to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Oh yeah.
And
I really liked it.
Yeah?
We
could talk about that. We haven't talked about that at all.
We haven't talked about that at all. We could do a whole Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, even though it's pretty late. Should we save that, or should we talk about it now?
Fuck it, let's talk about it now.
Let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the poster's going to be for this. It's going to be... It's a smorgasbord.
Let's just put an Oscar statue.
Yeah, just stick it in there.
Yeah.
It was sort of... I had the same problem I had with...
Django?
The Scorsese, Netflix... Irishman is that it's a really long movie, and I have a fucking puppy, so I had to keep breaking it up, which is not great for the narrative of a Quentin Tarantino movie, because the scenes you sink into them like quicksand,
right?
And I had to pause. The dog's gotta go out or whatever. But so I'd love to watch it again when I have 3 hours to just sit through the whole thing.
Sure.
But I did enjoy it. I didn't find it boring at all. I didn't find it dragged at all.
Right.
But
considering nothing fucking happens the entire movie.
Nothing happens at all. But I love that it is just it's just an exploration of this sad... it's the end of an era, which we're kind of experiencing now. Is the end of like actors don't sell movies anymore.
Sure.
And that happened once before.
Sure.
In the 1960s, actors stopped selling movies. Yeah. So I love that it's a contemporary exploration of the end of an era, and just seeing this like actor just realize he's done. He's just sort of like his career's over and he has to make peace with who he is. And I love the ambiguity of Brad Pitt being a murdering psychopath
so
or not.
That's one of my it's like one of my favorite Brad Pitt characters ever.
Yeah.
Like if Tyler Durden moved to Hollywood and just kind of became this subverted drunk who lives in a trailer as a stunt guy.
With his little dog.
Oh, he's so good.
The whole scene at the Marilyn Manson, the whole scene at the Manson Ranch was fucking intense. Like I watched it
at
on
the
a
farm?
Little computer screen. Yeah, and I just the whole time it was like the scene in Inglourious Basterds of the interview at the beginning where you're just like, what the fuck is about to happen?
Yeah.
I am on the edge of my seat and nothing's really happening.
Yeah.
And then nothing ends up happening.
I mean, that's my one problem with that movie is that like it is kind of aimless until like the last 10 minutes. And you're like, oh, that's what we were doing the entire time?
All leading up to an alternate once because I do like the spoilers if anyone hasn't seen it, they kill the Manson girls and the guy.
They stopped the Sharon Tate murder from happening.
Because it's like an alternate universe where they went to the wrong house.
Yeah.
They went to the house on the right instead of Sharon Tate's house. And they're just and they're like bumbling like Home Alone villains.
It's so funny. It's so... Whenever fucking Brad Pitt brains that chick with a can of dog food, it's one of like... That was the only moment where I was like, okay, now I feel like I sat through 3 hours of this for something. Because as much as like... I loved Brad Pitt's character just for like how the subtlety of that character is fucking genius.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite's whenever he's feeding the dog and he's eating his food and he's watching television and someone on the screen says something, he just goes, yeah. It's just the little things about that character are so pitch perfect. But what I respected the most out of that movie was fucking Leo for once not playing the coolest guy in the movie.
He was a really shook up, broken, over the hill actor.
Yeah, seeing him play against type and just play this nervous wreck who can't light his cigarettes. He's crying in public. I was like, you know what? I didn't expect that. And watching it the second time, knowing what was going to happen, wasn't there for the plot anymore. I was just there for the performances.
For the experience,
yeah. And I don't know. It's a buddy movie, but you're lucky that it's those two guys hanging out because they're interesting as fuck to watch, you know. And
I love that. I remember they were giving Tarantino shit about not giving Sharon Tate more lines, but her screen time she has quite a bit of screen time, and it's just a day in the life. It's just because he even said his defense of that was that he just wanted to show Sharon Tate living her life. He didn't want a lot of complicated interactive dialogue with people to explain her. He just wanted to show her living her life. So you see her walking around, you see her shopping, you see her checking out her own movie. And I really appreciated that. I like that.
Saw her feet.
Saw her feet a lot. You saw everyone's dirty feet.
Everyone's dirty hippie feet.
He's it's sort of like a porn addict eventually dips into pedophilia. You know it's in the pipeline. You're gonna at one point check out a 14-year-old's boobs and then feel really bad about it. Tarantino's like on that same trajectory where it's like now his feet are like filthy, disgusting feet. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the scene where he just goes full cowboy movie and it's just like a foot mushing into like muddy shit. Yeah. Just a close-up shot with some ASMR audio.
That's his last film is going to feature just a shit-covered foot and a dick fucking it. You know it's going to be there.
IMDb trivia page. The dick actually belonged to Quentin Tarantino. No shit, said everybody on planet Earth.
Everybody ever. Oh, God. And they'll call that graphic nudity. Anytime you start a movie and you see that there's graphic nudity, you know it's a dick.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's just nudity is just a vagina or boobs. Graphic nudity is a dick.
It's kind of weak, so
very odd.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? We're totally off Marriage Story,
but completely.
Whenever I saw Spider-Man: Far From Home,
the dick scene.
Was there a dick scene? I was like, wait, how high was I when I saw that?
He's just like foot fucking MJ.
JB Smoove just walks in swinging pole. No. It was the part at one point Peter takes his shirt off, and this kid, this like 10-year-old boy with his mom, like 2 seats over. Lost it, man. Like, ew, gross, no.
Yeah?
And
overcompensating or just super straight?
I remember who I saw that movie, but I turned like, that kid's turning out gay.
Yeah.
He's suppressing something. Like,
to be that upset by
whenever you were 4, did you not go swimming with your friends?
That's true. I think I've told the story on this podcast before that during a sex ed class when I was like, whenever they start that, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I would just watch the guy stuff and got squeamish about the girl stuff. And they called me gay. And I was like, well, why would I be squeamish about that's just what I have.
Right.
Why would I care?
Yeah.
But then the girl stuff as an 8-year-old's like, no, boobs and vaginas and things. No.
True. Yeah. I don't know. I think that kid's gonna end up sucking
Sucking a dick. Sucking
just
a
because,
melancholy
like,
dick.
why? I'm not gonna name names, but I once had an employer who did very similar things. Like, if we were watching a movie.
Oh my god, gross.
Yeah, the second a dude like took his shirt off, he was like, ugh, ugh. I'm like, dude, if you have that much of an aversion to a naked male body, you might want it in your mouth.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be just
yeah.
because you're suppressing. Like, why would you have that adverse of a reaction? I don't know why I brought this up when we're talking about.
I
before
think
this.
you might be sucking a dick at some point tonight.
Well, I don't have an adverse problem. I have no problem with it. I look at men's. I like men's bums.
I totally, because I'm from a family who wouldn't give a shit if I was gay or not. When I was younger,
Yeah.
I was like going through puberty and I looked at naked dudes and they just didn't make my dick move. And that was the day I realized, oh, I guess I'm just straight.
Yeah.
I'm boring. If anything, guys with their shirts off piss me off because I wish I looked like that.
I wish I had the confidence to take my shirt off.
Yeah,
my sense of fashion's
seriously.
gonna suck due to my heterosexuality.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Speaking of the downfalls of heterosexuality,
Marriage Story? You're a genius. Genius. Adam Driver.
fucking genius.
It was...
What's his homeboy's name? Noah what?
Noah Baumbach.
Noah Wiley's from ER.
Yeah, Noah Baumbach. Yeah, I don't like his movies typically.
What else has he done?
You'd have to look it up because it's escaping me right now. I just know every time I see. I think he did that fucking Ben Stiller movie, Greenberg or whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember that coming out now.
I'm not a fan of his typically.
Highball, Mr. Jealousy. I'm trying to see what he's
Anything
directed.
huge?
Mistress of De Palma.
Marriage Story.
Yeah.
Greenberg. Yeah, see, I'm not a huge fan of his.
Squid and Whale.
See, I don't know. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. It's nothing to do with the plot of the story. It's just an event that happens in the movie. Would you consider that a spoiler?
I don't think so.
The movie's clipping along fine. It's so basic. It's just the story of a divorce. And I don't, as we said in a previous podcast, or as I said, I'm not a huge fan of Adam Driver or Scarlett Johansson.
Yep.
But they nailed it in this one. They were really good off each other. But there's one point where Adam Driver is hanging out because he's a theater company director. And at one point he's hanging out with his theater friends and he breaks into song. And at that moment I was like, fuck this movie. This is the stupidest thing.
Under what context? Like, is he like because it's a theater production? Is he like singing a song?
No,
like
he's just at a point when he's really bummed out about the divorce and he's walking around New York because he's a New York guy. There's a whole point about how he's a New York family.
Okay.
And she's living in LA. And they're trying to get the kid back and forth. And he's just walking around. It kind of made me nostalgic for living in Toronto because he's just walking around. And he looks in a window of a pub and he sees his friends in there, his theater company friends. And he goes in and he's chatting with them about the divorce. And then he just gets up and sings a song. Like, he goes to the mic and sings a song at them. So it's not like a musical where it's as if I'm sad, I'm gonna stand in front of all my friends and sing a fucking song. And and he's a horrible singer. And it's just the worst. And all I could picture was Noah Baumbach doing that. And how much I would just fucking hate that guy.
I'm just imagining him inside Llewyn Davis. Like, he's like, 1 second, please. Like, he's just, and all his theater buddies are like, what the fuck? No wonder she's leaving his ass.
Yeah, it was so bizarre and so out of left field. It just felt like a real event from his life that he put in the story. And if that's a real event from his life, he is just the worst type of theater guy.
Listen, if you made a horse's ass in front of your friends by singing a song awkwardly at a New York pub, wouldn't you write it into a script so you could somehow justify
Oh, yeah, no,
it?
that's why I did it.
That's why I did it. It's totally fun.
No, it's totally cool.
I wonder what she's thinking the whole time this thing's getting all the accolades, like his
The
real life
real
ex-wife.
life.
You know what I mean?
She's Scarlett Johansson's not treated badly, and they're both shown to be good and bad.
Okay.
So it's pretty fair between them. Although it does focus on Adam Driver a lot more, and it makes Scarlett Johansson, she's a little more manipulatable by the lawyers.
Okay.
Which is a little sad.
Okay.
That you can tell in the back of his head he was like, "Fuck you, Becky," or whatever her name was. But I can't be so obvious.
Sure.
You know, I have to make it equal. But I would recommend, it's on Netflix, it's easy to find. I would recommend Marriage Story, but goddamn that singing bit. It was like out of 5 stars, I'm going to say 3.5, 4 stars, and then boom, down to like 2 because of that singing scene.
You think it was to portray him as like sympathetic and vulnerable? Like,
I have no idea because it did not come across that way. it came across like some attention-hogging douchebag singing in front of his theater friends.
It's bad enough, like, a third of the dialogue in the movie's dedicated accrediting you as a genius.
And then you start singing.
Then you start singing, like...
It was so awkward.
Did you ever see Blue Valentine?
I did not see Blue Valentine.
With Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams. I can't, every time someone talks about Marriage Story, I think of this flick. So this flick is very similarly, it's a couple whose marriage has fallen apart, but they juxtapose it with how they first met.
Okay.
And it's interesting, like, you know, there'll be a dude that whenever they were first dating tried to ask her out, and then she was like, I'm all into Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, modern day, fat, balding Ryan Gosling's waiting in the car, and she's in the supermarket, and she runs into that guy
and
again.
He's got a full head of hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
exactly.
Well, that portrays women wonderfully.
Well, I mean, he's a piece of shit. Ryan Gosling is totally just a piece of shit. Yeah, he's kind of a shithead in the movie. But, like, there's something to be said about watching a cinematic version of a marriage or a relationship fall apart.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but when I argue in a relationship, I don't say shit that's half as clever or well scripted as in a
that
fucking
takes a
movie.
few drafts.
Exactly. So, like, it's kind of uncomfortable because you're willingly watching the most eloquent and vicious fight you have ever seen for 2 hours, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Have you seen Kramer versus Kramer?
No.
It's interesting because it was like the early 70s, I think. And it takes the spin of the courts favor the mother in the divorce, but Meryl Streep's a fucking monster. So it's Dustin Hoffman having to fight.
But what does she play in the movie? Yeah, I said it, Meryl. Come at me.
Take that, Meryl Streep. God's gift to actors.
Fuck.
We're going to get torpedoed right now.
Oh my god. Yeah. Like the fucking... Wait, if Beyonce has a beehive, Streep's got, like, what, streepers?
She's got streepers. Her streepers are going to come after us. I think that's what she calls her pubes. I gotta give the streepers a clipper.
For God's sakes, Meryl, can you wash your streepers down the drain when you're done in the shower? For God's sakes.
Your streepers are down to your knees, Meryl. You're over 60. But Kramer vs. Kramer is really good too, but it's weird because it's this little time capsule of, like, women's rights are coming into play, and then it's like a conversation about the cake and eat it too, in a way, where it's like I've said this before, I believe, on this podcast, where there are quote unquote perks to inequality. Like when you play a video game, a perk is you can, for those who don't know, you're bullet repellent, but you drown really easily in water. There's always a downside and a plus side to a perk. So inequality, it's like you don't have to worry about getting a job. That's a fucking perk. You might want to get a job, that sucks, but for those of you who don't want to get a job, not being expected to is a quote-unquote perk. Sure. And it's kind of a conversation about how when equality starts to happen, how do you kind of deal with those perks that can't exist in equality, because then that's superiority.
Gotcha.
So it's sort of like women's rights are coming into play. This mom, okay, now it's just given that she gets the kid, but she's a horrible mother.
Gotcha.
So how do you wrestle with that?
Gotcha.
So it's an interesting sort of exploration of just fatherhood, I guess, and men's roles in raising children.
The male lead in that again?
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, the Hoff.
Little Hoff.
I love
Little
the Hoff.
Hoffster. No.
That man can do no wrong.
I'm surprised he hasn't been Me Too'd yet.
You think Dustin Hoffman just comes off like very neurotic and I don't know.
I could see him sticking a stick of butter up a vagina like Marlon Brando style though. I could see him doing something weird.
He's been single for fucking like. Oh no, wait. No, hold on.
Did he also get Me Too'd?
No,
Actually,
no.
I kind of feel like he did get Me Too'd.
I don't think.
Just vaguely, like some 7-year-old woman.
Shit!
Yeah.
Sexual misconduct allegations in 2017. Several women accused Hoffman of sexual misconduct. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Well, I take it all back, Dustin Hoffman, you fucking piece of shit.
You're the worst thing ever. Maybe that movie. Maybe I'm reading too much into Kramer versus Kramer. It was just a fuck women story.
Is it bad that I'm imagining when he does it, he just has his legs like up in like an arch, and you're looking at the girl through her legs,
like Graduate style.
She's like, "You think you're trying to seduce me, Mr. Hoffman?"
But I imagine he's of the generation that he wears like tighty whitey jockeys too.
Well, I would also think in those garter socks.
Yeah,
he would have those.
Yeah,
on.
he would.
Yeah.
But let's move. Let's paddle away from this river of sticks that we're on here.
Why?
And go to your movie that I haven't seen that you can say a lot less about.
Yeah, I got a tiptoe around this one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Ju Young, I can never say it. Bong Ju Young.
Bong Joon-ho?
His newest epic fucking Academy Award winning movie, Parasite.
Parasitic. Which is getting the right wing riled.
Oh, why? They don't like Asians winning shit
film.
now?
You won foreign film. Why do you get fucking Best Picture, too? But I like that, like, my rational brain does kind of go, wait, they did win Best Foreign Film. Why do they also get Best Director? I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I don't care. It's not like I'm some redneck want some fucking Gone with the Wind fucking movie to win. But I'm curious, that's not a precedent that's ever been set.
I wonder.
It's strange.
I'm surprised more people are like, well, how come an American movie can't win foreign film? It's foreign to other countries, isn't it?
I mean, that is technically true.
Yeah.
But
there's Academy members not in America. Am
Yeah,
I right? Am I mistaken?
right.
There has to be.
The Academy of Motion Picture, I don't know if it's an American organization or not. It might have members that are obviously who wouldn't be American. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Guy Ritchie and such.
Yeah.
I imagine is.
I'm sure. So to them, every American piece
Exactly.
of shit's a foreign film.
Exactly.
And it has immediate credibility because you can say, oh, you're watching a Marvel movie. It's a foreign film.
It's a foreign film.
Yeah.
You don't understand the avant-garde nature of Thor: Dark World.
Yeah, exactly. You do not understand the avant-garde nature of Thor: the Dark World.
I can't. Basically, I'll say this much about this movie: it's funny as fuck. The one thing you wouldn't guess from looking at the trailers and reading the synopsis is how fucking funny it is.
Yeah. Translates well to reading the comedy.
Well, what's interesting is that I was talking about with my buddy Dylan, who was on last week.
Yeah.
And he said the interesting thing about Korean is, unlike Chinese and Japanese, it doesn't really have to. The intonation isn't as important as it is in like Chinese and Japanese. So you can actually hear the humor and like some of the deliveries I was laughing at, even though I'm like, I don't understand what they're saying without the subtitles, but I can tell the way she said that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So there's that element of it. The story's really fucking fun. Like the first half of it, you're like, this is when you realize this is what we're doing. Fucking great. The sister, what's her name? The actress, where is she? Park So-dam. She's like the Aubrey Plaza of this flick, like just this dark brooding sister who says really mean shit, but when she does her job, she's really fucking good at it. Like one of my favorite characters. The mother of the rich house, fucking hilarious.
Okay.
Like just really strong character, not even like stereotypical characters, but just strong characters that you're interested from like the second one of that movie. It's the family's coherent, the rich family's coherent, just weird and kind of loopy. But what's so fucking fascinating about this movie is that there's something that happens.
That's what I've heard. Is that halfway through the movie something happens?
Yes.
And I'm like,
I haven't been. And I don't want to oversell it for people who haven't seen it, but I personally haven't been that shocked in a movie since Neo got out of the pod in the first Matrix. Where I was like, "Fuck you! Are you serious? That's what we're doing here?"
If I'm right, because here's what happened. Here's my story: is that I had one night to watch movies for the podcast, and I watched Marriage Story, and then I started to watch that, and it was like midnight, and I fell asleep.
Sure.
So I didn't get through it. I woke up going, "Fuck!" So I saw the first 10-15 minutes of it. So if I'm right in my guess, is the twist in the middle just that the poor family that goes to work with the rich family just takes over the house?
No.
Okay. Because that's what I kind of thought, because I've seen this image over and over again of a guy walking with a bloody mouth, and I'm like, okay, so did they just kind of fuck up the rich family and take over the house? Is that all that? Is that the whole thing? Is it a whole tale of two cities?
Because like that's almost where I think like he I don't know why. I've been trying to find interviews with Bong. God damn, I'm gonna get it one day. Bong Joon-ho,
the director of the fantastic
Snowpiercer, and also Memories of Murder.
I haven't seen that, but I saw Okja. I wasn't a huge fan of Okja.
Yeah, Memories of Murder is great, man. It's like his Zodiac.
Yeah,
like it's like one of those movies. It's just a detective story, but it feels oddly haunting and almost supernatural, like the way Zodiac's told, where you're like, it's just a dude, but you're horrified by like this presence of the
murderer
of the whole movie, and like he does that so well. And the spoilers, it doesn't get solved. Yeah. The movie ends and you're like, "Fuck me!" Like,
unsolved case, Zodiac style. Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Interesting.
And also one of the most disturbing. I think of it to this day. Shots. The only time you really see the killer, there's a part where he always strikes whenever it's raining. That's what they start to put together. All the murders take place on nights where it's raining.
Okay.
So there's from the POV of a character, she's on like some county road and she's running and she's looking over her shoulder, but she can't see where he is. So imagine the POV, you're running down a muddy, like a raining road with a bit of light, like maybe you have a flashlight or like the headlights of a car. And and all of a sudden, from the ditch, someone just comes sprinting right at you, but you don't really see their face.
Oh, that's horrifying.
And then it cuts to black, and like you're like, that's the murder, and it's burned in my brain to this day.
My comedy brain immediately went to the sketch where the weather forecast is for rain, and it doesn't rain. It's just,
I don't know.
No, I'm saying.
Oh.
And then he's just out there with all his gear, and he's like looking up at the clouds. He's like checking his watch, checking his phone. Starts to drizzle a little. He's like, and then it clears up.
Sharpen my kitchen knives for nothing.
Yeah.
But this flick has a similar thing where, like, just the atmosphere that he builds, the set of that house, because I watched the making of, and it's all just one giant set.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane. It's fucking insane. Like, the amount of precision and detail he put into this movie. And the characters in the house, in the twist, a lot of it, like, my only problem with it is, like, I've watched this movie, like, 5 times. I'm not sure if the last third... I'm still trying to figure out if it feels justified, like, where the characters end up at the end of the movie. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, that's an option, but I'm not sure if that necessarily gave them a fulfilling arc.
Okay.
That's my only problem with it. But other than that, I don't know. It's such a fun watch. Like,
yeah, I'll have to check that out. Subtitled, obviously.
Yeah, it's subtitled, yeah.
Is his only non-subtitled film Snowpiercer? I think so.
Yes.
I think
that's the only one he's had even, like, in a...
Captain America there is a cannibal.
A fucking American cast, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I guess just Cap and, I guess the main is Ed
the host, Antarctic Journal, I've never seen.
What's his name? I can't remember his name right now. Ed,
Harris?
Ed Harris,
and Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton, who's fucking amazing. That was
she's
the movie.
Great in that movie.
That was the movie that made me realize Tilda Swinton's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a horrible, like, one of those fucking... She was the person who did an art exhibit where she got into a glass coffin and laid there, and it's like, ooh, Tilda Swinton for, like, 6 hours. She's one of those artists. So I know she would just be... It's like, it's the intolerability of actually hanging out with someone versus, like, appreciating their ability at a craft.
I have quite the crush on Tilda Swinton.
Oh, she's fantastic, but I imagine she'd be tough to spend an evening with. She seems very pretentious.
That fucking Coen Brothers flick, Burn After Reading, that was the one.
I watched that recently, too.
I love it.
I didn't.
No? Oh, I love how stupid that movie is.
Everything felt... Like, Brad Pitt felt really forced in that one. That was a bad job on Brad Pitt's part.
Okay, I could see that.
He was like, oh, I'm a douchey guy. But it was like, he wasn't seemingly putting any effort into it. It was just him doing... Almost like a high school production of a douchey guy.
I love Clooney in that movie.
Clooney's really good in it.
Just this falling apart.
Shoots Brad Pitt right in the fucking head.
You fucking hate him so much. My favorite part of that movie is whenever he starts breaking down, he realizes the Tuckman Marsh guy.
Oh.
Tuckman Marsh. Right, that guy's fucking genius.
Yeah.
And he realizes that his wife's divorcing him, and he starts breaking down, crying in the street, and the dude's just like... Happens to everybody, asshole. So I can't forget what he says, but he's just so unlikable.
Yeah.
Oh god.
He is. And I love the FBI stuff with J.K. Simmons. Where it's just like, so none of this mattered and nothing happened. That's the end of the movie.
She wants a sizable... fuck it, pay it.
Fucking just pay it, whatever. So she got her plastic surgery.
My favorite thing about that movie is, like, the Coen brothers usually build a universe of weirdos, like Hudsucker Proxy or the Lebowski. But what's terrifying is whenever those characters collide with the quote-unquote normal people.
Yeah.
And I love that they made a point in that movie of giving them a separate stage just to be like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
What is happening? But I love the whole meaning of it is the meaningless. It's like, so none of this...
Yes, what did we learn from this, Johnson?
We didn't learn anything. Nothing.
I love that movie. It ends and you're like, are you fucking serious? Like,
I watched another Coen recently. Oh, I watched No Country for Old Men again recently.
Oh, nice.
I love that movie. It's so slow.
It is slow.
But it's slow in a way that you don't get bored. And that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough sell.
It's a good cowboy movie, that one. One of my favorite, again, moments that's burned into my brain, just because it's so haunting and terrifying, is that scene whenever Josh Brolin's collecting the cash, and he looks up on the hill, and he just sees the headlights on the truck come on, and you see the dog running after you. You're like, what do you do? Yeah.
Why would you go back? But I love
the
thesis of that movie, thus the title No Country for Old Men, is that things are horrible, but they've always been horrible. Good deeds never go unpunished, because he goes back to give the guy water, and that's what sets the whole thing in motion, and evil always wins. Because everyone fucking dies at the end. Tommy Lee Jones retires, and Javier Bardem walks into the sunset.
Right.
You can fuck evil up, you can pop the bone out of evil's arm, but it'll always win.
It always wins.
I like how just dire, like how fucking bleak that is, of like, happy endings? We invented those.
Yeah, and also the idea of, like, it takes the one thing that perspective that age teaches you. Like, you can't learn that from youth, and it's just like, oh no, you reach the end of your rope and you're like, no, oh fuck, we fucked it all up.
And then that whole scene of the older guy saying it's always been like this is nothing new. There's no new evil in the world. It's just every generation thinks it's something new.
I guess I'm trying to think of, like, that what I like the most about Coen Brothers flicks, and to some extent Parasite. A lot of Bong Joon-young's Bong Joon-ho. Oh my god, I'm never gonna get it right, dude.
Remember the girl you know named June, who's a super hoe, and
she
rips
bongs.
Bong. Is it Bong or Bond?
Bong.
B-O-N-G?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she rips Bong. She's a super hoe.
Bong Joon-ho.
And June Cleaver. Loved her weed. Super slutty.
Is that, like, it's always about, like, here's a group of unstable, violent, or stupid people, and then something, it's almost like a Greek myth, something insane falls into their lap,
right?
And you just watch them all clamor for it and like kill each other, and just the drama that ensues. Like, and that's what I find so it's their through line through all of their works is just like, this is what fucking people, usually it's money.
Yeah,
you know,
usually it's motivated by greed.
It's it's such a fascinating, it never gets old, that trope. I could watch like a Coen Brothers marathon.
Did you see, what was it, A Simple Man?
No, I have it downloaded, but I still haven't watched it.
That one's really good.
Yeah?
It's super dry and boring. And again, it's just about, there is sort of a MacGuffin of stupidity, and it just spirals out of control.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything about it, because it's very plot, not a lot of plot. Just sort of the exploration of this middle-aged sad guy.
I don't know why I haven't watched it yet, because that's one thing about Coen Brothers movies I love, even Ballad of Buster Scruggs, is I know if I'm sitting down and watch them, I'm gonna fucking be entertained.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna do
you get
shit
hooked like a Kubrick film.
Yeah. So I don't know why I haven't invested the time in that one.
I don't want, because we have to get to movie news on this podcast, so I'm not going to waste time with this. Maybe next week I could talk about, because I've recently gone through some self-punishing Insidious and Conjuring movies.
Why?
Because
Patrick Wilson.
100%. No, because on Amazon Prime, Sam has Amazon Prime, and we're always looking for stuff to watch. And I realized, like, I don't like horror. I love horror films. Mm-hmm. That's why I hate 99% of horror films. Yeah. But it also is this whole genre of movies I've never fucking seen.
Yeah.
So let's watch some. And we went through the 4 Conjurings. And four of them, or no, I'm sorry, 4 Insidiouses, the Insidii, and two Conjurings.
Okay. Okay, wait, hold up. Insidious is the doll, evil doll.
No, that's a Conjuring. But the Conjuring.
I thought the Conjuring was an Exorcist type movie. The first one.
The Conjuring's a universe. So, like, in the first movie, it's like a James Bond thing where the beginning doesn't necessarily play into the rest of the film. So in the first movie, that Annabelle doll is just the case they're talking about. And then it transitions into the actual movie.
Which is the one with the clapping scene?
That's the Conjuring.
Okay, I've seen that one.
That's the Conjuring. And that starts with the Annabelle doll. Because it's just...
Yes, it does. It's in the case. Yeah.
It's just they're just going over an old case like the beginning of James Wan. That clapping, I have to say for the director, James Wan. The director of Aquaman.
Of the smash hit, Octopus
Aquaman.
on Drums flick.
Amazing movie. Because none of those films stuck with me. And I think that's a nail in the coffin for horror. If the next night you're not thinking about a scene, then that movie was scary. Yeah. But there were, I think, well done bits, like the hands coming out and clapping. That broke was my really brain creepy
when I watched the first time.
But the Insidious movies are all demon porn. And they make it's like showing Jaws in the first 10 minutes of Jaws, where the demons are just fucking there.
Oh, the Insidious movie's the one that had the Darth Maul looking demon. The red and black, he had like a red and black face. Oh, now I remember.
Yeah, the lipstick demon. Everyone's just a different demon every movie, and it's this horrible actress who lucked out from being in basically an indie film, and then it got successful, so she got 3 fucking sequels out of it. And she's just in every movie as the paranormal investigator. She dies in the first one, so the next 3 are prequels.
Oh, really? They went that route?
They went that route. But the biggest thing I noticed is that James Wan, I think he's a really talented director. I know he made Saw, and I fucking hate Saw, but
I like the first 2.
He made the first one. Yeah. I'm not sure he made the second one. But he, huge thing I noticed is specifically with the Insidious movies, he did the first 2, and then the second 2 were done by someone else. Mm-hmm. Or maybe he only did the first one. But the first one, there's not a single musical jump scare, like a musical sting.
Yeah.
Like you see something in the music goes...
Yeah.
Cheapest fucking way to get a scare. Not a single one in the first Insidious, not a single one in the first Conjuring. And then when the other directors start taking over, it becomes nothing but. You just see something walk by and the music goes... And that's the cheap scare.
Right.
And it's really forced and it's really weak. But there is some imagery. There's two specific things I think of. One is the hands clapping. That was fucking creepy.
You know what it is about that part? It's because it takes the effective use of visual storytelling to like make something unsettling. Like, you're not just hearing that, like you're seeing that. She's not. The staging of that is like, that's a mental mind fuck. You're like, oh, that's so creepy.
And the closest thing he did that actually stuck with me beyond the film was in the first Insidious movie, when the demon puts on Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Oh, God.
And she's just walking back in the house, and she looks through the window, and she just sees him doing that funny little dance to the music, and you're like, oh.
I've never seen it.
That's so creepy. It's just like a quick little shot. And she, because the mom goes out, she puts on a record, the mom goes out, and then the record goes, and then Tiptoe starts, and she kind of looks in the window, and you just see this shadow going... and like dancing, and it's so fucking... It sounds hilarious.
It sounds adorable.
But no, and it's super adorable by the end of the film when he's in his fancy... Like, you haven't seen it?
Nah.
At the end of the film, they actually go into this other world called the Other, the Further. Worst name ever. Further.
What?
Yeah, the Further. So he's
This
like...
is the Darth Maul looking guy?
Because the guy, Patrick Wilson's like a dream walker. He can go outside his body and go into this other realm called the Further, where ghosts and demons and shit hang out. It's so stupid.
Okay.
It's so stupid. But he's looking for his son, because his son's trapped in there. In the real world, he's just in a coma. And when he gets into the demon's lair, it looks like a marionette, like hellscape, where he's just in this room, and he has these big like glasses on and sharpening his claws, listening to that song. There's all these dolls hanging everywhere. He's just like, ha ha ha. And it looks like something out of Jim Henson's The Storyteller. It's the cutest fucking thing. He's so cute. He's such a cute little demon. But that one silhouette shot of him dancing in the window, just to think about that. Like, you go outside, take the garbage out, and you look in the window, and you just see this shadow dancing.
That'd be a nightmare.
Like, holy fuck, that moment was yeah, that was, the whole film was worth that moment.
There you go, the Insidious.
That's it. Yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say.
I never knew there was such a thing.
And there's a whole universe. Yeah, because the
that's The Nun came out of that too, didn't it?
It's The Conjuring, The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring 3. Then there's like 3 Annabelle movies, which is about the doll. Then there's The Nun, and then there's another Nun movie coming out.
Does the couple they based all this shit on get anything out of these movies?
They're dead.
They're dead.
And they also were proven to be frauds on countless occasions.
Okay.
But they're the ones who investigated the Amityville horror.
Oh, okay.
So that movie I didn't really like either. I didn't really dig the Amityville horror.
The original one?
The original 70s one. I didn't see the Ryan Reynolds remake.
Yeah, I had to see fucking James Brolin's balls and tighty whities. That was immediate.
And the original one.
The original one. That bummed me right out.
Yeah. Well,
now if it was Josh Brolin...
that would be something different.
Who might have been living in said balls at the time. I'm not sure what the timeline's like.
You may have seen Josh Brolin bouncing around. But the pig in the window at the end I thought was super adorable. Remember the little red-eyed pig at the end of Amityville Horror just staring at the window at them?
No.
No,
it's been a while since I've seen the original.
Maybe I needed to see it when I was younger, because I watched it again recently, and I was like, why is this so popular? I don't really get it.
Right. Maybe it's because it's based on a real murder.
But that has been over and over again proven that the family just wanted attention and wanted to get out of their lease. Because it was a guy killed his family a year before, and then they sold the house.
Yeah.
And then the people couldn't afford it. He lost his job, and all of a sudden, oh, we need to get out of this house. It's haunted.
Gotcha. Oh, I just meant that, like, you know, the fact that the Feo dude actually murdered his...
Actually killed.
Yeah.
That was unsettling.
Yeah.
Because that's back in the 70s when it wasn't a PG-13 they had to think about.
Yeah.
Because in The Conjuring 2, they recreate the scenes from the Amityville Horror.
Really?
But it's because that is the real event that made them famous.
Sure.
That paranormal investigating couple. Yeah. And it's so PG-13. It's so, like, it's just like CGI blood goes poop when the shotgun hits them in bed, and it's just so cheesy.
Lame.
But in the original, it's fucking intense when he kills them all.
It's fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
And what I find so fascinating about that story is that, like, none of them woke up. Like, how the fuck do you go shotgun to shotgun through a room and, like, everyone stays in bed? I'm like, that's fucking creepy.
Maybe they were just terrified of Dad. They were just like, I can't get out of bed. Did he kill his wife first and then went kid to kid?
Ugh.
I don't know. It's horrifying.
I love doing this podcast. It's this warm, sunny feel.
It's like a Halloween. I have no idea what to call this podcast. I think it should just be Rambles.
Smorgasbord of
Ramble
Oscar movies,
things, maybe and Insidious
names I can't pronounce.
Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho. Sorry, I such disrespect to one of my new favorite directors.
The Beeves' mom smoking a bong and blowing the Beeves' dad. So we have some movie news to get to, but I think we might save that for next week.
All right.
Everybody listening, this is just going to be a shorter podcast this week. So next week we're going to talk about Uncut Gems, and we're going to talk about what will no longer be topical movie news. I'm sure things will have changed in the realm of movie news.
Yeah, a lot of stuff will change, but Uncut Gems will still remain one of the Jewiest roles Adam Sandler has ever done.
Super Jew.
So Jewy. Right down to his colon.
But yeah, we'll talk about that next week, and we'll see what's going on in the world and with you guys. But thanks for listening this week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
And check us out at spaceactionheroes.com. Nice little bite-sized podcast this week.
Yeah. Adios!
Bye!